Morning guys, thank you for joining us for today's Facebook Live. Today we're going to be making a cat. It probably won't look exactly like these ones. These ones we made in one of the Facebook Lives. One of the first Facebook Lives I think it was, wasn't it, that we did these ones?
I think it was. It feels like a distant time ago. I think it was just at the onset of
It was kind of
COVID.
the beginning of lockdown, wasn't it, that? But the cats were really popular with you guys, so I thought I'd do some more. I might even try doing 2 today. But what I wanted to do is try and do them in different positions today so they're not exactly the same. So you can use white Saracino modelling paste and you can just colour it with normal food colours. You guys that watch all the time will know that I'm pretty lazy and I just will use it pre-coloured because it saves me a lot of time and a lot of mess. It just makes my life a bit easier. The one I'm going to do today, or the 2 I'm going to do today, I'm going to do one in black and then the other one I'm actually going to do in grey. So if you're doing a grey, start with your white and just put a tiny pinch of black into the white. If it's not dark enough, then you can always put more of the black in. But if you start with a lot of black, it's very difficult to lighten it. So the paste, I've pre-kneaded this earlier to just make it a little bit softer for me to use. Sometimes I stick it in the microwave because it can be very, very tough for me to get it going. My hands are fairly cold at the moment, usually get a bit warmer as I work. Okay, so normally I don't weigh things out, but for the Facebook Lives I'll weigh them out just so you guys can kind of see roughly what we're doing. Maybe I should have got out some more black than that. Treacle's going to be small, Rob. I'm going to cut it in half to start with. Actually I say that, and when I in half, roughly half, don't worry if it's not exactly the same. When I start off I always think, oh, it's going to be way too small, and then by the time I've finished something it always ends up bigger than I think anyway. Treacle's going to be my one itch in its face. So how many grams did we have there? About 60 grams, okay? So I want to just start by rolling it into a ball. Okay, so I rolled it first to get rid of the creases and cracks. And then what I've done is trying to roll the ball so it's a little bit more kind of pear-shaped, slightly. Okay, I want it so it kind of comes out to the side. So this one's going to be a little bit trickier than normal. So I'm going to put its front paws in first. So I'm going to kind of hold it slightly to the side. I've got a little crack there. Can you see what I'm doing?
You're on top down, and you get in a better position.
So I'm going to go here. I didn't practice this one, guys, so I apologise now for if it doesn't work.
Sorry, do you practice anything?
Yeah, usually half an hour before I have a little bit of a practice.
Yeah, okay.
So I've tried to kind of do it. Can you see, rather than keeping it straight, I've done it slightly off to the side. Okay, and then what I want to do is try and bring this bit of the hip up and round, and then we'll just smooth that out.
As long as you stay where you are, because I'm just zooming in there. So
okay.
Got some good cat names coming in: Atlas, Cosmo, Belle, Hector, Gizmo. We nearly called our dog Gizmo.
Yeah, he had about 6 different names, didn't he, at one point? This hip I'm going to try and do a little bit further down so it looks like it's kind of further around. This may or may not work. We'll see. So it's kind of a bit lopsided at the moment. Maybe its arms should have been more lopsided as well. We will see. Okay. This bit of the hip now, which normally we don't do this, but what we're going to do is we're going to change this and kind of have a crease here as if it's the hip and it's kind of folded in half. So it looks weird, doesn't it? I'm hoping it's going to make more sense in a minute. In fact, I'm going to spread the front feet out a little bit. You can, of course, just stick the front legs on as separate pieces. Can you guys hear the airplane going over? We are fairly close to an airport here, and the airplanes can be really quite noisy. So there we go, we're pulling it apart a little bit. And I don't really know how cats sit, so this might not look anything like what a cat actually would sit like or look like.
We are doing another lying down cat as well. Did you say?
I'm going to do a lying down. So I want some pieces that are fairly long for like the bottom part of its leg. Maybe that should have been the other side of its hand actually, of its foot. Oh, it's too long. Too long. Hang on. I'm going to push this up further up here. Changing my lines as I go around. Do you keep changing everything, Richard?
Yeah, because the box not working on the
Oh, can you not see black?
Not very well at all.
Sorry guys, I picked a colour that doesn't show up very well on camera. We'll see. Maybe I should have done it a bit thicker. I'm going to put a line here and here. Can you still not see it, Richard?
Yeah, you're on top down at the moment, that's it.
Okay. And then what I want is, I think I am going to make this one a bit smaller because it sticks out. Even though it's the same length as that one, it sticks out a bit much. Unless we put it in front of its other paw. I'm not sure. This is when it's better to have a picture of what you want to do. Okay, so let's go for some little small bits for the pad. I don't actually know how many toes cats have. Do they have 4? Mine's going to have 3 because I don't have space.
They have more claws than a T-Rex.
You mean fingers?
Fingers, yes. For anybody that watched, we did a T-Rex video, didn't we? And I think we did. Was it a raptor? We had too many claws.
Here's my T-Rex. I gave it too many fingers. I gave it 3 fingers and they have 2. So then we're going to put some water on the back of it. You can use edible glue if you prefer, guys, but I just use water. It usually works okay for me. So let's do the same on the end again with this one.
With the person whose cat you're making, Rob has commented that if it helps, Treacle's paws are white, not pink.
No, Rob, that doesn't help at all. Rob, could you go paint Treacle's feet, please, for us? Yeah, as Richard was putting the camera on, he went, oh yeah, Rob's just sending some pictures to you now. He went, but you can't see them now because I've attached the camera to the stand. The camera, my phone. Sorry, Treacle, you've got wrong coloured feet. I don't know if this is a position that would really sit in, but this is my position that Treacle's sitting in. So that one's going to come out there. Treacle's got one little foot stuck behind it there. Hang on, so let's make some little paws for the front. Oh wait, these could be white. Treacle can have 2 white front paws. Okay, we don't want them too big, otherwise they'll look massive compared to the back ones. So we want 2 little ovals, and what I'm going to do is just stick them on the front of each foot. I didn't weigh these, sorry guys, but just smallish pieces are fine. Put a bit of water on the front there, and I don't know if you can see, but just a little bit there. This one's going to be more a teardrop shape because I'm going to have to push it in to a slightly tighter space. And then this one is going to go on there like that. Does Treacle look a bit like Postman Pat's cat? That's black and white, isn't it?
Is that Jess?
I think so. Yeah, I think it was. Okay, so I'm going to work on the body a little bit and sort of try and... Hang on, let's make it look like this arm comes this way and this one's going that way a bit more. So we want a teardrop and it's going to go on
Black
the front
tail.
here. Black tail. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we're going to... Treacle doesn't actually have really long hair, but on this one she's got fairly long hair on her chest. So a few little lines on that piece of chest hair, and I'm going to stick it on the front here. I'm thinning it a little bit just there where it's going to meet the neck, and then we'll bring it around there like that. Okay, let's see. It's a big head, but I think that's okay. Let's wait. So you guys... So usually I'll roll a rough ball and just hold it against it to see what it looks like. It's probably going to look a bit bigger by the time I finish because it will flatten slightly when I'm making it. 54 grams. What did we have in the body? About 60. So it's not too dissimilar from the weight that was in the body. On these ones, what I did was I just pulled the nose out, the nose and mouth area out in the same colour paste. But because Treacle's actually got a different colour nose, we can stick it on. So again, roll a piece first, hold it against the head so you see what it looks like. I'm going to change the shape of the head a tiny bit, I think. I'm going to... Can you guys see from above there?
Yeah, keep there is central, so keep, well, roughly central.
So it's a bit wider at the bottom and narrower at the top. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press in a little bit for eye area. Just on here, like that. 3 and a bit grams.
3 and a bit.
3 and a bit. Okay, what I want to do is try and pinch a little bit at the top.
So just to recap, what did you use to glue your bits together?
Just water.
Just water, yeah.
Just
So
water
a little
on
bit of
mine.
water.
Yeah. So we're pulling a little bit up from the top here. And sometimes, like if it's sticky, this feels pretty tacky. You can get away without even using any water. If you want to use glue, that's absolutely fine to use the edible glue. Go with whatever you're used to using. Okay, so I'm going to use my Dresden tool on here. Okay, and we're going to press in. So the wider end, can you see the flatter bit of the wider end? And usually it gives you like a really sad looking mouth, so we have to kind of bring it around and up at the sides. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to nudge this in a little bit there and there. Can you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
Let's give treacle a
With
little
the modelling paste you're using, how long does it take normally for it to set? Or
I wouldn't say it ever fully sets, or it takes a very long to set fully, but it hardens enough that it's firm pretty quick. But it depends on the temperature. For the eyes, what we're going to do is we're going to use some, these are like chocolate pearls, aren't they, covered in like a coating. But the green ones, these are the Halloween mix ones, these ones. The green ones are really good for the cats. I think I used blue on that one actually. Blue on that one. I keep thinking I might do one with purple. But Treacle's got green eyes. Go for green. Okay, I'll maybe just push a little bit of a dip in. So know roughly where the eyes are going to go. So I'm going fairly low down in that sort of imprint that I pressed with my finger. They're fairly low down. The more you kind of push in here, the more it enhances the brow area as well. So we could make Treacle frowning, but we won't. We'll keep Treacle pretty happy looking. Well, actually, Treacle doesn't look that happy, does he? My thing.
Is Treacle? I'm assuming Treacle's a boy cat.
I actually thought Treacle was a girl. I just sometimes call her the wrong thing. Let's draw the pupils in anyway. Has Rob replied?
I can't see.
Rob's probably so upset that we didn't know. I'm sure Treacle's a girl.
Yes, she's a lady cat.
Yeah. I just sometimes say the word he by accident, but I thought Treacle was a girl.
You may get a conversation on the camera now because there's some people outside the back of our shop having a chat.
They're not that loud today. Sometimes they're very loud. So we're just using an edible pen. I didn't even tell you what it was, did I? Who watched the original cat video that we did? Did many of you guys see that one? It was a while ago. Like, it is still on our page, but I know that it's difficult to find things, isn't it, as they start sort of disappearing down the page. Like, it looks nice with the pink in. What I did was, hang on, let's go back to this kind of diamond shape. Like I say, rough diamond. If you want to use a cutter, if you want it like a perfect shape, you can do. So what I should have done, because it's got pink in the middle, is cut down the middle like that. Okay, but the ears tend to stick out at an angle a lot when they're cut like that. So usually what I do is I'll cut slightly at diagonal, and then I can flip one that way. So can you see then, when they would go around their head, the angle just means they sit a little bit better on the head. But because I put the pink in the middle, it meant I couldn't flip one over. Okay, so I want to just get them to curve a little bit. Try and get them as close as you can size-wise to each other. Ish. Let's put a bit of pink in the middle of the ears.
So what dust are you using there again?
This one's the claret.
Claret.
Yeah. Probably put more than I need on there. Using my favourite dusting brush again. The Silvia Mancini one. Okay. So now I want to put some water on. So try not to make the ears too thin when you press them, otherwise it's harder to stick them onto the head. Okay. Then what I need to do is put a little cocktail stick through the body. If you've got loads of time and you can kind of balance it on, you don't actually have to put the cocktail stick in. But I'm worried that if I don't, that when I move it around, because I'm doing it all like fairly quickly, that it will just drop off. Okay, so on this one you can get away without that, but for the video we're sticking it in. Then we're going to put our ears on. I'll just do it this way. Let's go on this way. Okay, like that, or does its head look a bit disjointed?
That's it, yeah, that's good.
Okay, I can't see it now. Treacle will have a thinner tail because she's not like a long-haired cat, so it won't be as bushy as like these ones. So I'm just going to roll what I've got left out, and then we'll see what length we think it needs to be. Let's put some water on the top here, and then we'll press it onto the back. So stick it onto here, giving it a good firm press on in place. Now you can have it in like whatever direction I suppose you want the tail to go in. You can blend it into the body if you want, but I'm happy with it just sort of pushed on like that. I don't know, how do cats hold the tails? Do they normally just curl them round? I'm not convinced it'll stay up if I put it in the air though, so like I'd have to put some support behind it. So Treacle's tail is just going to be like that. Okay, so that's cat number 1, Treacle. I'm going to leave it like this, put a bit of water on the back, see if we can slot it in there. And I'm just going to trim it off at the back. I should have really got my craft knife because that would be easier than the bigger knife, but it's fine. This knife's sharp enough that it should still work.
I have to ask the question. Is Treacle having a bit of pink blusher?
I don't know. Should Treacle have pink blusher?
We could revisit that a bit later, couldn't we?
I don't like it too much on the black. Can you see? Yeah, no. I know you guys are obsessed with me putting pink on everything because you think I'm obsessed with pink, but sometimes it ruins it.
A little bit of this, that's enough.
Today is one of the days where I think I've ruined it with the pink. I'm just trying to wipe it off with a slightly damp brush. Treacle will have a little shiny face for a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, that's
okay,
good.
So if we do a lying down one, so we'll start with a little dumpy sausage. Then what we're going to do is we'll put the hip bit in, as we did on the other one. Okay. So put this in here. Looks weird, doesn't it? I know. Let's see. I'm gonna pull a little bit down.
This colour's a little bit easier to see.
Is it easier to see?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we're going to divide this, and it's going to be the paws at the front. Do cats sleep with the paws curled up? I don't know. This one's just, maybe this one could be a fluffy cat because then its tail can cover a lot of everything up, which sorts out a lot of those problems of me not knowing how cats actually sit. Let's put these little lines in the end anyway. So the body parts and stuff I haven't really spent that much time on this one, but oh, I don't know what all that noise is.
We've got a large delivery.
Have we got another delivery?
Yeah.
Everything always arrives, doesn't it, as soon as we're on a Facebook Live. Okay, so the head is actually going to partially cover this area up, so I'm not too worried. But what I want to do is try and slope this bit here a little bit, ready for when the head goes on here. We hopefully shouldn't need a cocktail stick because there's plenty for it to rest on, like the head, without it falling off or out of place. Okay, so this one's more important now that I get rid of those creases and cracks, otherwise it's going to show on the face. I think I'll give this one a hairier face like the other ones, I think. Okay, have they gone? At the moment they look like they're not there. See how much paste we've got, about 54 grams. Okay, now they do flatten a little bit at the backs of the heads when I do this. For me, it doesn't bother me. I'm not too worried about that. Okay, so can you see the top bit of the head I'm thinning, so it's much chunkier at the bottom bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm taking my finger and kind of curling. Can you see I'm pulling? I've got a bit of black paste on there. There's a bit of my black from the last model. If you've used black, it is always worth wiping down your work surface before you start on your next project. So can you see us starting to pull that shape out for the mouth? Because it's going to be the same colour, or pretty much the same colour on this one. I'm not worried about sticking it on as a separate piece. Can you guys see that okay? So I'm still putting it against my body. So can you see now it looks much, much bigger than it did before. I'm squeeze it in a little bit there as well. Okay. Because it's soft, I can keep playing around with it and manoeuvring it and things, so it's fine. So our eye area, again, we're going to put in about here. Do you know what? I might keep it asleep, or should it just be like grumpy sulking?
We could do a grumpy cat.
Okay, let's do grumpy. So I'm pushing in my eyes fairly deep. My fingernails are going to get in the way there. You can use a balling tool actually if you prefer. You know, if your fingernails get in the way, just use a balling tool there like that. Okay. I've just got a very tiny bit of water on my brush. I don't want too much on there. And then we're going to push these in. Press fairly deeply. Like, they do want to stick out a little bit, but not too much. I mean, that still sticks out a lot, but actually there's a lot pushed within the surface of the face as well. Let's put this in. And instead of trying to bring it up and round, we can just leave it. Oops, it's a little bit wonky. Coming downwards, so we're not bringing it back up quite as much. Does that make sense? This end bit here where it flicks up is where it looks sort of happy. I'm not sure if that's actually how it works in real life on a cat. I'm sure it's not. And then what I'm going to do is, if I can, is just try and pull or pinch the edges of the face here.
A couple of people are asking if they when they're making or using oil paste, how do they stop it drying out and cracking?
What modelling paste are you using? This one generally doesn't really, unless you've just had it out in the air a long time. But yeah, it depends what paste you're using as to how quickly it will dry and crack. I'm not going to put too many more lines in at the moment until I've done a bit more on the cat. It's very ugly looking at the moment. Let's put his eyes in again. If you're using certain pastes, you can put shortening in with it. So if you mix some shortening in while you're working with it, it'll just stop it drying out quite as quick. This one that I'm using, the Saracino, you shouldn't really need to put shortening in with it. Okay, so just drawing on again with that edible pen. See if we can get it in a similar place. So can you see, I forgot to say, didn't I, in the last one, I leave like a little circle that's not got black in, so it looks like a bit of light in the eye. I've done it so that actually you don't see much of the colour. So they've got quite big pupils. Again, they're not actually the shape of a cat's pupil at all. But sometimes when I make them look like slightly more realistic, they look a little bit evil. So just a small bit that we're going to cut in half. So a circle, squash it, cut in half, and then this is going to do for our little eyelids, hopefully. And we're going to put them onto there. Okay. Okay, so if we want it to look angry, we're now just going to push down our brow area.
Angry looks sad now.
Sorry, he's meant to look angry.
He's getting angrier. He's getting angrier.
So can you see if we push that down, it becomes much, much angrier looking. And then yeah, you put as many or as few lines in the face as you want. I feel like he looks like an old, miserable cat.
He also looks strange in how he is.
Yeah, sometimes just the last few details make such a big difference to what they look like. Could even put like some little hairlines on kind of the edge of the legs and hips. Although like I say, I think we're probably not going to be able to see these legs much when we're done. Let's see. Let's take a bigger nose. So we put on an oval and then we kind of squash it around so it becomes slightly more triangular. But they were just looking a little bit too chunky. You can always keep it thick in the middle and then thinner on the points. I'm actually just going to cut it straight across this time as well on this one. So if things don't work for you one way, just, you know, pull them off, have another go in a different way. Because as you can see, things don't always work out as you want. Sometimes you do something and you think, oh, that's much better than I was expecting. And then other times, it just doesn't work. Oh, they need a bit more of a dip in the middle, actually. Put more of a dip in there. They still look the same size, don't they? Do you not think they don't look actually any smaller? It's another one of those days where no matter what I do, I feel like it's probably not going to work out for me. Water on the edge of the ear. Well, he doesn't need eyelashes at all, but he's going to get some.
You're just playing now.
Yeah. Oh, quite big, thick, chunky. Big, thick, chunky lash on that side. In a slightly darker grey. Actually, saying that, it doesn't look that much darker, does it really? What does it? I don't know. Can you guys see it?
Yeah, you can see the...
You can see the what?
He's got like a stripe on his head.
Okay, I didn't know if it would show up or not.
Yeah.
So I'm doing one big one down the middle, and then I'll try and do them a little bit smaller as we come out to the sides. Yeah, I think I prefer treacle. It's starting to look more cat-like now that the stripes are going on though, I think. A little bit less wolf-like. Do you reckon? I'm going to darken up the edge of the ears a little bit, as long as I don't knock them off.
I'm going to say, we'll see one. Just going to pop into your corner of the screen some of the other cats. These are earlier Facebook Live videos. So you should see your screen now. These are a couple of, like one of those is a ginger cat.
Do cats ever have darker noses, or are they always like lighter, like the mouth area?
I don't know. Thank you.
Or whoever was happened to be around when things don't work out.
That's how we roll here at Zoe's Fancy Cakes.
I always say to students, don't get stressed if it doesn't work out, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I think it's good to, like, not everything works out first time, does it?
No.
But then you learn from your
Sometimes I really
mistakes.
don't care. Sometimes I get really stressed and cross when it's not working. It's usually when it's for something in particular that I get a bit stressed and cross. Okay, so the stripes are going to come across its bottom here. I don't actually physically throw things at you.
Not yet, anyway.
Sometimes I want to, but I don't. Okay, so we put that on with a bit of water. And then I think the tail is going to be, because obviously it's missing a tail, and if I give it a really big bushy tail, that's going to kind of balance it out, and that's going to give it more size on the body compared to the head. It's a big chunkster, this one. Okay, so again, we're taking them out, we'll roll a rough shape, and then we have a little look.
Just to recap, what grey dust did you use to dust?
This one is the ashen grey.
Ashen grey.
Ashen grey, yeah, this one. I think I'm going to go slightly bigger than that. Can you see already, though, it starts to balance out the size of the body compared to the head a little bit more?
Yeah. It's a bit like, reminds me of
the red panda.
Yeah,
It's actually a bit like the red panda. We did that actually with a massive tail, didn't we? So it kind of partially covered its face. So a little bit chunkier here, and then gets a little bit narrower at the far end, but also narrow at the end. That's going to attach it. Is that what you wanted me to show people? That one's got a massive tail. That one's paw went over its tail.
Yeah, hold it up, point up to the camera.
Maybe I should do that. Maybe we should put its paw over its tail. So let's put some water where it's going to connect to the bottom. And in fact, I'm going to put some on the front of its feet, because then I can push it against the feet there. Like that. Then let's put some little lines in for a tail. I'm probably not going to fully put lines over it. You could actually use some little scissors, can I, to snip into it. Take a tiny bit off. Just a So a little bit of water under that. So we're going for teardrop shaped. Press it thin there so we can kind of tuck it into the gap. And then let's put 2 lines in there so that we're dividing up the paw. Does that look a bit better? Does it? And now we didn't actually need to even put paws, did we, on the front of it at all? Just make sure if you are dusting and you want the powders to be dry, that your brush is dry as well, okay?
Good question. If they can't get model paste like Saracino, could they use modern chocolate for this little character?
Yeah, you can do. I mean, this one, to be honest, because it's fairly small, if you really wanted to use fondant, you probably could with some Tylose. To be honest, you can use fondant and Tylose, or, sorry, sugar paste and Tylose. It's just that I'm really rubbish with it, and I know that when I see people make things with it, the results are not as good as when I've seen it done with modelling paste. But at the same time, I know that there are some people that make really good things with sugar paste, fondant, and CMC and Tylose. So sometimes when I tell you like things don't work, it's more that it doesn't work for me.
Yeah, they always look cutesy, angry, they never...
Does it need another paw or not?
Yeah, that looks better, yeah.
Then
he's playing with it. She's playing with her tail.
I haven't actually glued that on. I should have put some water on there. I think I prefer the first cat though, don't you?
No, I don't know, I like this.
I think I prefer treacle. Which do you guys prefer, treacle or this one? I would think treacle. Treacle looks a bit neater than this one and smarter looking. Can you see them there or not? Treacle looks way more awake and more sprightly.
Treacle's fine, spin the other. Yeah, there you go. Spin her a little bit more.
Who? Which one?
The grey cat. What we're going to call the grey cat. That's it, yeah.
Grumpy.